Hello, my friends. We are back with another Alpha Doodle set, and we are using the last little shred of daylight that is left for today. Oh, I cannot wait for us to be in summer when we get 24 hours of pure, glorious sunshine. It's going to be great. I am ready. Okay, well, you guys have been asking like crazy for a full set Alpha Doodle video, so we're going to be jumping into Affinity Designer again today, and I'm going to show you how to create an Alpha Doodle set from A to Z that you can sell legally. So I want you to really listen to that phrase because it's really important. I have a lot of friends that are beautiful and wonderful designers of fonts. They are font creators and they work tirelessly to create beautiful fonts. And the last thing I want to do is to encourage anyone to take a font and just resell it with some sort of decorative elements. We do not want to do that. We want to respect all designers and all artists all over the place. So let's make sure that we are following the rules. And to do that, I want to show you how to legally create a full Alpha Doodle set in Affinity Designer. So let's go. All right, so here is my beautiful beauty of Affinity Designer. We're going to File, then New, and you can choose whichever size you would like to design in. If you are going to be doing the full alphabet, I do encourage you to use a large size. One of the larger sizes that you could choose would be the iPad 12.9 size. You would find that by going to Web and then clicking on iPad. So the reason I say that is because it's going to be a landscape size and one that is a good way to start. So I'm going to go ahead and just click Create. And it's going to give us an artboard because I made sure to have that selected. A great part about doing that is that you can adjust it. So if we wanted to make this wider, we could do that. Okay, so what I like to do is design the entire thing on one page, and then when I'm ready to make them into individual files, I will do that using a 3600 by 3600 pixel document. So I'll put A on that one, B, C, D, etc. And then if I'm including any lowercase, I will do that as well. This is a time-consuming project if you are wanting to do all the letters, and then oftentimes Alpha Doodles will also include maybe some doodly elements that you want to put in there, or they might include the punctuation marks, some of the more popular ones like a question mark or an exclamation mark. They also might include numbers 1 through 9 so that people can use those. Of course, that all depends on what you're wanting to include. I like to start off with a font. I know that sounds like I'm going against what I said, but you'll see why. I like to create my little text box and I will type in the letter A, and I will do that again. I'm going to hold the Alt key down and I'm going to slide it over. And I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to do it with a lowercase. Now, you can create however you want for your workflow. Some people like to do all A through Z caps. And then again, if they're including lowercase, they'll do A through Z lowercase. I'm not going to create a full alphabet with you guys today because it does take quite a while to do a full alphabet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the uppercase and lowercase of the A, and that way you can get an idea of how you would do this and how you would implement these tactics for an entire alphabet. That's the important part. So I'm going to highlight both of these and just kind of move them to the center, and I'm going to make these larger. I think I'll hold Shift down. Yeah, hold Shift down to make sure that they are uniform. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to choose a font that has some aspects of what I'm looking for my Alpha Doodle. So for my personal Alpha Doodle I'm creating, I want it to be a bubble letter. These right here are not even close to the thickness that I would want for a bubble letter. And so for me to make these thicker and to do all of that, it would take quite a bit. I want to find a font that's kind of close to like the thickness that I'm wanting for the letters so that it's less work for me to do essentially. So I'm going to keep them both highlighted and I'm going to go up to the fonts and I'm going to choose a font that's somewhat close to what I'm looking for as far as thickness or overall shape. Like if you were wanting to do, for instance, All Hallows Eve is a hollowed font. That might be one that you want to choose if you're wanting to create an Alpha Doodle that's a hollowed font, or a script if you're wanting to make a script style font, etc. My goal, like I said, is to create a bubble letter. So really what I'm looking for is not to find a bubble letter, but to find one that has like a good bubble letter shape. So if I wanted Chester Network, you see how it's kind of wonky. That might be good if I wanted more of a wonky looking shape. But since I'm wanting one that's both uppercase and lowercase, I'm not going to choose Chester Network because it's only an uppercase font. So I'm going to keep looking and I'm going to find one that I think is going to look well. So I love the thickness of Death Star, but it doesn't come with the lowercase. And that doesn't have to matter, but it might to you. Gemstone outline is beautiful. Gemstone regular is beautiful, but not quite what I'm looking for. I'm thinking I'm just going to go with I think I'm going to go with Impact. Okay, so Impact is a really thick font. So that's going to help me when I turn these into bubble letters. It's going to mean that I'm going to end up with a thick bubble lettered font and I'm not going to have to adjust the overall thickness of my letter. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to hold the Alt key down and copy this. This you do not have to do. This is just to show you guys where we started out and to make sure that we are unrecognizably that font. So when we're done, we don't want the maker of the font Impact to go, hey, that's my font. That's what we don't want, okay? If you get that response, then you're not doing it right. So I'm going to grab this A. I'm going to move this one over here and I'm going to grab this one first, okay? And I'm going to right click and I'm going to turn it into a shape versus a font. If we were to double click this, we are going to get the cursor, which means that we could keep writing if we wanted to. But we don't want to do that. We want to be able to turn this into a shape so that we can manipulate the look of the shape. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to click convert to curves, and now we have a shape and not a font. You'll know because you can see the nodes everywhere. And if you were to double click, you're not going to get that cursor to be able to create another letter. So we now have a shape that is like the letter A. So from here, what I want to do is I want to make the adjustments. What you can do when it's turned into a shape is literally anything, okay? We can move this over here. We can change literally whatever we want about this font. Okay, we could also choose to make it look kind of cool as far as adding to this. So let's say we wanted to make it look kind of like literal bubbles. Okay, we could take a circle and we can add little circles like this. Okay, so let's say we just want to add a whole bunch of random circles in various different spots. Okay, so we can do that. We can do this. We can kind of that, just kind of make it look a little bubbly or something. Maybe this is just some sort of flair that you have for your Alpha Doodle. Who knows? Maybe it's an underwater theme Alpha Doodle or a mermaid Alpha Doodle or something like that, okay? So the great thing about Affinity is how easy it is to do these types of things. I love it. So what we could do is we could grab all of this, okay, highlight all of it. And since these shapes are above the shape of the letter A, we can merge them all together. So we go right up here to where it says add and we just click it. And now it's all one shape. If we were to double click, we get all the nodes now. So really, really cool that we can do these types of things. We can also take away, all right? So if I wanted to do something like that, but now I want to take away from a shape, and this is just all to kind of help you get an idea of what you really can do in Affinity with these letters, really creating your own type of letter. So we're going to grab the ellipse tool again, the circle, and I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to make another one. Okay, but this time we're going to subtract. So it's done the exact same way. We're going to highlight both, okay? You can see that this circle is on top. You can also see that over here in the layers panel. And then instead of add, we're going to subtract. Okay, so now we've made it like a chunk out of the A. So many different things you can think of. You can make it look like it's a bite mark if you wanted to. Maybe you're making some sort of monster theme and there's like a bite out of it, or a pet theme, or something like that. If it were a pet theme, you could maybe make it to where there's a dog paw or a paw print taken out of it. You could make a circle, make it like that, and then make it look like there's a worm going through or a caterpillar going through it. Just really start thinking of what you could do to make this A really cool looking. And this is all before we even get into adding different colors and different patterns and things like that. So Really, really cool. All right, so going back to our letter before I did any of those to show you. Since I'm wanting a bubble letter, I need to make sure that these edges here are no longer sharp. We need them to be rounded, and that's very easily done. We just go over to the node tool, the white here. We click on our letter, and we will click on one of these nodes, okay? And then we're gonna go right up here to where it says convert, and we're gonna make it a curve just by clicking. And now when we click off, you can see that that one is curved, but the others are not. Another great thing you can do is select, and we can hold the shift key down, and we can do multiple at a time. So if you know for sure you want all of these to be curved, you can select every single one of them, making it way quicker. And then we can go up here and do the same thing. And now we have more of a bubbled letter A. So I want to do the inside as well. So I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to turn each of these into a curve, just like that. All right, so right away, we already have a bubbled letter A. So as you can see, we put this A next to this A. These are completely different. Even though we're starting out with one, doesn't mean that it's going to look like that letter in the end. It's just a starting off point. Now with my letter A, I pretty much like the way it looks, so I'm gonna move it to the side, and I'm gonna do that same thing with the lowercase, because what you're gonna want is you're gonna want an entire alphabet that flows together. It looks like it's all one font, even though this font doesn't even exist. You're just creating it, okay? So remember, the first thing we have to do is convert it to a curve. So I'm going to go to convert curves, and then I'm going to make those same changes that I made before. This one's going to be a little different because the A already does have a lot of curve in it. So I'm just going to find the sharp edges, and I'm going to change those into the same kind of curve that we did with the A. So we will click on this one here, holding shift down. I'm going to click on this one, all the ones that I know are super sharp. Those are the ones that I'm going to change. Okay, so that's all the ones that I want to change so far, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on the same one. So we're going to click off, and we're going to see what our bubble letter looks like and what changes we need to make. Some letters are going to be more in depth than other letters, so it really just depends how many twists and turns and nodes and all the things that are included in it. So if we look here, we can see that that doesn't look quite right. So we need to adjust this. We can either move it out, or we can just get rid of the node altogether. I'm going to attempt to get rid of the node altogether and see what that looks like. I do like that better, so I think I'm going to do that same thing over here. Looking better, but now I feel like we have a few more harsh lines. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to grab my node tool again. I'm going to see what we can do for this one here. I think if we were to just move it a little bit, we might get a better option. So if we move that like this, like that, I think looks a little bit better. And let's see what we can do with this one here. That looks great right there. This one is a little sharp. So we will, if we do like this, I think it might make it sharper. Nope, I actually like that. It kind of curved it just right. This still looks a little sharp, so I'm going to move it a bit. I'm going to move it in a bit, and then maybe arrange it just a little bit differently. There we go. That looks much better. Coming down here, thinking this one could be out a little more like this. I like that. Maybe make this one a little more rounded like this. Okay, and then this I feel like could be a little bit better as well. So we can try to go like maybe more like this. Let's see what that looks like if we were to do it like that. So I like that quite a bit, but you can see right here is really similar to this one here. So I want to make some of that different. So I'm going to go back to our node tool, and I'm going to just make a few adjustments here to make it not so similar. So we'll go down a little bit like this. Let's see what that looks like. So this one needs to go away now. And then this is looking a little bit like a high heel shoe, and I hate that. So we can bump this down a bit. We are getting there. And I really want this to be more rounded. I don't love how flat it is. So I'm wondering if we were to take these off and just do something like that. And then this one, now we can adjust again. I kind of like where this is going. I think what's missing is the middle. So I think if we were to just adjust the middle here, I might like it more. So I'm going to get rid of this and this. We can adjust the point a little bit. Let's actually get rid of it, and I will just grab it and kind of make it a little bit better. Here we go. And then this one can go back just a little bit. And then this one can go away. This one just needs to go in a bit so that it's not so drastic. This one can come down a bit so it's not so thick. Okay, and then this, I think we can make her look a little bit more plump now. Here we go. Okay, so I'm actually liking that a lot more. And I think it looks a lot different from where we started. So we're gonna just keep that just like that. I think that's gonna look really cute together. Now that I've zoomed out, I see I wanted to bring that in just a little bit. Okay, so now we have our letters here, okay? So what we're gonna do is now we can see that they're very different. So I'm gonna get rid of these. And we are going to act as if our entire alphabet is done, or whatever it is that we're wanting to do, whether it's all caps or all lowercase or however we're wanting to do it. We're going to assume at this point that it's completely done. All right, so now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to Control C, Control V. And on the top one, it's just going to be the outline. So I'm going to get rid of the fill and I'm going to make sure that the outline is there. And I'm going to grab that one and I'm just going to move it off to the side. I think I will up the stroke to probably, let's try 5. 5 is a good start for now. So I'm going to do that same thing with this A here. And I'm going to make sure the stroke is a 5 and go to the color and then take out the middle. All right, so now we have the outline of our letters so that we have that for when we're ready. And for the inside of the letters, I have some digital paper that I have downloaded. Okay, so we're going to grab the letter A. I'm going to select the put inside or insert inside the selection just like we did before. I'm going to go to place and I'm going to choose one of these really cute designs that I have found and I'm going to put that in here. And I'm going to make sure that I get rid of the black background. So once I select this, you can see that the black background is still there, the fill of the letter. So I need to get rid of that so that it looks nice and crisp. That looks really cute. And from the same bundle, I'm going to grab another one. So I'm going to grab this one here and I'm going to go inside of the letter again. And I'm going to choose the ho, ho, ho of this one. This is a really bright, colorful Christmas design that I love so much. I'm going to make it pretty large so you can see the ho, ho, ho in it. There we go. And now I'm going to grab that again and take off the background. All right, so that's a good starting point. So what I want to do now is I want to grab our outline and I'm going to put the outline back where it should go. And then the same with this one here. All right, so that's a great start for our design, but what I want to do is I want to add some more little flair on our letters. So what I would do is I would grab maybe this same exact outline. Okay, we can hold the Alt key down, we can maybe move it a bit, and we can put it back right where it was. All right, so I'm going to take this outline, and this time I'm going to make it just a little weird, like a little funky. This one's not going to make a whole lot of sense. It's here for decoration, okay? So it went in on that one. Maybe it goes out on this one a little bit. It goes in a little bit there. Let's make this one go in a bit right here. Just a little bit wonky. It's just gonna add a little bit of flair to the design. Let me make sure we're on the right one. And then this one, well, it went off a little bit over there. So let's make it go in a little bit right here. Okay, and I'm going to do that same thing to this one here. So we are going to Control C, Control V, and this is going to be the more wonky looking frame. So I'm going to move this one in a bit. There we go, just like that. That's cool. All right, and then kind of a similar situation over here. Go like that, and then maybe the middle, a little too much, a little less. All right, so now I need to adjust this into a different kind of curve because I want to be able to put something inside that outline. If I choose to do it now, it's going to go into the letter, and I don't want that. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to go up to Layer, and I'm going to click on Expand Stroke, and that is going to make it to where I'll show you. It's going to basically expand it to where it's no longer an outline, it's its own shape. So now you can see how the outline of the outline is its own shape, okay? And now we're going to grab a glitter, like a hot pink glitter digital paper to add into this. Now that we're on the right one, we're gonna hit Insert Inside, and we're gonna go to File, and then Place, and I'm gonna grab this hot pink, and you'll see how now it goes inside the letter. If you want a finer glitter, you can go like that, and then you can kind of just move it around, like hold the Alt key down and just move it around a bit so that it's not such a large glitter. If you want, like, I think that looks really cool like that. So if that's what you wanted it to look like, you could do that. And then we would do the same thing where we would select it and then take that black off. There we go. So now we have two different outlines. One is glitter and then one is not. You could also swap it, do the other one, the glitter, however you wanted to do it. I'm going to do that same thing with this one here. So the wonky one, I'm going to adjust, and we're zoomed in pretty far so you can kind of see. You see how where the line is on that? So that's why we need to change it. So we're going to go up to Layer and then Expand Stroke so you can see the difference. Now it has changed it to where the outline is the shape. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did with that last one. Grab the same digital paper, and I'm gonna pop that in there. So if we wanted the big one, we could do it like that. Or if we wanted the small one, we could do it like the smaller glitter. I actually like the bigger one. So I'm gonna keep that one like that. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just change this one. And then we'll just make this one bigger, just like that other one. I thought I would like it smaller, but I don't. So now we have these two letters, okay? And imagine that you did the entire bundle and you have the whole thing done. This is what it would look like. You would have your capital A would be done, your lowercase a would be done. And so what you would do as far as saving these into separate ones, so pretend we have A through Z and all the things. So we would make sure to have a new canvas. We're gonna be File, New, and then this time we're going to do a 3600 by 3600. Just like that. You can either create an artboard or you don't have to. I'm gonna go ahead and create an artboard. I usually like to. In this case, if I were doing a font like I am, I would probably do an artboard for each letter, and then that way it would be easier. So we'll go back here. I'm gonna grab the letter A and all the different pieces it has with it, and I'm gonna just Control X. And then I would come right over here, I would hit Control V, and I would make sure that the size is right for what I'm wanting. So make sure it fits good. All right, and then I would just go to File, Export, and then we are gonna export it, of course, as a PNG file. And then this would be my lowercase a. This is how you would go about saving each and every letter or character and then uploading those onto your shops to sell an entire Alpha Doodle set. Though I feel like it's really easy, it is a labor-intensive job to do an entire alphabet, which is why a lot of times people will create one full alphabet, they will love it, and then all they do after that is just create new ones, but the alphabet itself stays the same. If you go on Etsy, you will notice that most of them are the exact same letters. They are just decorated differently, and that's because this process of creating an Alpha Doodle set is very labor intensive. So when they create a new one, all they have to do is adjust the digital papers, the patterns, the colors, or things like that. Maybe add different types of doodles if they are adding doodles into their set as well. But they won't create the entire alphabet, like the full alphabet like we did, from scratch every time. So that would be my encouragement for you, is if you're wanting a bubble letter or something like that, create one that you just love and you think will be perfect for all different types of projects for people. And then then always use that one. That then becomes your full template because you're using the same letters that you started out with. You're just changing out the different aspects of it. But honestly, once you do it, it really is fun and easy to change out for different themes and all of that. And if you don't want to sell a full set, but you just want to be someone who has their own that like no one else has, definitely encourage you to do this, because if you create your own Alpha Doodle set template and then you just change it out for your own personal designs, literally no one else will be able to have that. So very, very cool to be able to do this type of thing for yourself. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We have officially lost our daylight, but that's fine. We're just going to run with it for the day. It's a beautiful night out there in Alaska and the stars are popping. So anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up so it gets pushed out to everyone else who is interested in making a full Alpha Doodle set. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you get notified every single time I post a video. Strongly working on 2 videos a week, and so far, so good. We are busting them out and I am loving that. Might not always be the same day, but we're also working on that too. Go out there, go design a life you love, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.